Ayesha Curry has been out talking her talks.
This ain't loving basketball. Y'all can't both be a star.
I think she's just bored and the streets are calling. She said herself, I'm in therapy for the choices I made.
There was a point in the interview when she said, hey, so have you talked to Steph? And Steph was like, hey, you have everything. And I'm like, yep, that's y'all.
At the time, she said she wasn't ready. And I think it's okay to admit when you're not ready for something emotionally or physically or mentally. Ayesha Curry has been out and about and talking her talk. So apparently she was on an episode on another podcast where she indicated that she was not ready for marriage. As a matter of fact, she went on to say not only was she not ready for marriage, she wasn't even expected to get married, and that she had her own dreams and goals and ambitions. She had her own career plans, and all that was derailed once she got married. So I'm interested in hearing you guys' thoughts in regards to, is this another fair or foul on Ayesha Curry's part? Is there some type of credibility to her statement that she was basically robbed as a young woman when she decided to get married? Now, that wasn't exactly her statement, but that's pretty much me paraphrasing the conversation that came out of there. That's why I said that was just me paraphrasing some folks' interpretation of what was said. So where do you guys start on this?
I think that it tells me that she's tone deaf. She's tone deaf and she's out of touch. And I said it because there are countless people who look at her and say, girl, if I had to walk in your shoes, you know what I'm saying, the sacrifices I would make. Not even knowing the sacrifices she's made. I'm sure she's made sacrifices. But for her to hop on this, I want to make myself a victim for some clout and attention. Oh, look at the ifs of my life and what I could have done. Come on, ma'am, sit down. People have real struggles right now. And this is what you're doing with your time? We're supposed to care that you somehow have found enough time in your not busy life, right, to think about all the things you could have done as you sit in a place of comfort, right? As you stop. Matter of fact, the fact that you got time to post this on, y'all get the picture. You've seen her post. So no, I boo her. Boo her, ma'am. Listen, this ain't loving basketball. Y'all can't both be a star. And if it is, we're at the end. We're at the part where you're sitting on the sideline with the baby. It's not a sexist thing. It was a dude the first time. I'm just saying, sit down. This is not about you. Yes, your daughter got some shine. She had a little more charisma. Okay, let's wait for her to come up. Why don't you go back home, right, and train her, get her on that blue IV training plan, whatever they do, to get her to be ready to be a star, okay? Right? Because you need to sit down. She's doing a lot. She's doing the most. At the heart of my point is, I think thou dost protest too much, ma'am. I don't know what you're complaining for. I really, really don't. You're doing well. Go ahead, y'all.
Listen, I think this is still building on the last interview she did, the Red Table Talk. I think she's lamenting not being outside. And listen, I can understand it to a certain degree. You know, you got married at 19, which for the record, I think is the right way to do things. You know, getting married young, having all your kids, and they all have matching last names. Shout out to her for that. That's a beautiful thing. And you managed to bag, of course, she didn't know this at the time, one of the most legendary basketball players of all time. As far as we know, he doesn't have any scandals. He's got no holes. He loves on you. He goes to work and he comes home. You guys go on vacation. I don't know what Steph is actually preventing her from doing. If she wants to do a cooking thing, even if she wanted to go back and pursue her acting career, I don't think he's stopping her from doing that either. As far as I know, she can take all the acting classes and lessons that she wants, and she doesn't have to. Who's going to say, oh, no, you're not right for this part? I mean, you're Steph Curry's wife. I think some of that is what she resents. Like, she didn't get it out the mud and build everything, on her own. So what? Listen, if my wife wanted to, I'm going to support her in whatever her endeavor is. I'm pretty sure Steph is not going to say, oh, okay, you want to go get your master's or go to cooking school? Okay, cool. Or open a restaurant. I'm not going to fund it or finance it at all. You go start a GoFundMe or crowdsource it and get it out the mud and figure it out. So that way you can say, you did it by yourself. I'm sure if given that choice, she would say, no, Steph, give me the seed money to start my business. So stop it. I think she's just bored and the streets are calling. She said herself, I'm in therapy for the choices I made. You didn't want to be a mother and I wasn't ready to be a mother. I think those are two different things. Nobody's ever really ready to be a parent. I don't think, hell, I'm not ready. I told you guys, I'm just making it up as I go. I think she's bored and she's trying to find some direction, and this is her outlet. I don't even really have an issue with what she's saying. I have an issue with where she's saying it. Even if I thought these things, I wouldn't get on, any podcast and say, "You listen, I got these issues with my wife or whatever." We're gonna handle that in the locker room or with a, therapist on the couch somewhere with my feet up. But yeah, long story short, I think the streets is calling, and she's gonna do another podcast that's gonna build on the first two, and we're gonna get even more clarity that she wants to be outside. That's my take.
The fact that we still go back to her comment on the Red Table Talk to me is interesting because I gave y'all niggas clarity in what occurred and what was happening. And I saw a clip with Corey Holcomb and other niggas. And I guess y'all are a little bit more civilized than some of the commentary that I've seen out here. And what it tells me is that a lot of y'all niggas' emotional intelligence is very low. Like, oh my God. Like, you want to talk about tone deaf, Jay? Some of the shit that I've heard some of y'all niggas say sounds tone deaf. And I'll tell you who else is tone deaf. Steph Curry. And I'll tell you how I know that because she told us, right? And let me tell you why. Because there was a point in the interview when she said, "Hey, so have you talked to Steph?" And Steph was like, "Hey, you have everything. Like, what could you possibly, lament about your life, right?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's y'all niggas." You know what I'm saying? Like, that's y'all tone deaf, low emotional IQ, intelligence having ass niggas, right? Like, how you gonna pluck somebody at 22 and not expect some kind of blowback? Y'all just wanted to be perfect, huh? You got her when she was probably untouched, unvarnished for the most part. You got her like the niggas say they want the chick, right? Pristine, no experience. She's just not ever to have any issues about the choices that she would have made for you to get that, huh? Oh, I get y'all are used to hoes. Right? Because because y'all assume they got these bodies, and we'll talk about it later. But for the ones who don't have bodies, they're not allowed to have like thoughts or to like think about their own agency, right? Or think about their choices. Does that mean that she would trade places with some of y'all niggas? Absolutely not. But does that not mean that if she's going to have agency as a woman and she hasn't had the most robust career, what the fuck else is she going to talk about? If I'm Steph, I'm not mad because I know a human being needs an outlet. I recognize that she probably did make sacrifices for us to have the life that we have. I recognize that I'm able to live my dreams, not only on the basketball court, but also off the basketball court. I maybe have not had to make the same fucking sacrifices that she did because guess what? As a full human being, she had dreams too. Right? And I'm living mine out here, and everybody is pouring adulation upon me. And yeah, I'm giving her the place. I'm giving her the money. And y'all broke niggas think that's what the fuck it's about as a human being. What about agency? What about who the fuck she wanted to be and still wants to be, about finding herself? You think it's okay for a human being to subjugate themselves to only being Mrs. Curry, such and such's mom? She can't be Ayesha, the aspiring actress, the aspiring business person, right? And so, yeah, is it the nicest thing to do in public? No. But if you think the nigga who hits threes in the NBA Finals is worried about his wife's opinion on a fucking internet and worried about y'all opinion, y'all just don't fucking get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I'm not the type of man who married a woman young, who also didn't have a lot of experiences and had to be mindful of that, for the fact that I got that, I had to understand that she is still a fully functioning human being, right? And so as the leader, provider, protector, with emotional intelligence, if she has some issues, I'm going to foresee it. I'm going to empathize with it. I'm going to validate it. You dig what I'm saying? Not be on some, well, why would you be upset when I've given you everything? Nigga, this ain't about you. It's about her. She's allowed to have an about her. And so for all y'all niggas out here who don't even take the time, I can see why some of y'all, I'm going to just shut my mouth, right? But I think as a man who not only wants a certain type of woman, but also sees himself as a certain type of man, y'all are off fucking base. You know what I'm saying? In my humble opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because she ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? She's not. You know what I mean? She just probably talked a little bit much, but she's allowed to be outside too, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? To build her brand. And lastly, you can't ask these women to be a thing and not expect there to be some level of blowback, y'all. I'm sorry, the world don't work that way. You know, there's no perfect thing. There's no woman who's gonna fuck you, suck you good. She's a virgin on top of that. She ain't never gonna complain about shit. It just don't exist. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, the way she still shows up, I think she shows up a lot better than a lot of these bitches out here that we see gallivanting on here. And just because they're not on podcast, you know what I'm saying? Maybe having a little diary of the mouth, that would mean that she's showing up better in real life than she is. Okay? Y'all be clear about that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And lastly, I'm sorry. No, I got one more. Because, yo, if you go back and look at the Red Table Talk, Shorty was fat, man. Come on, man. She was thick. She wasn't feeling herself. Y'all can't see that? You know what I'm saying? Come on. Y'all can't give her no grace. Like, y'all old lady ain't gained a couple of fucking pounds, and y'all ain't say shit to her. Yes, babe, you look good in that dress, lying ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? You can't give her some grace? What are we talking about? Go ahead, Chanel.
Okay. So, first, I'm just going to go ahead and co-sign on all of that. And the reason why is because I think the reason why a lot of people were upset was simply because her statement challenged the myth that marriage automatically equals fulfillment for women in particular. And so it's like, oh, you got the ring, you got the husband, you got the 2.5 kids and the dog and the picket fence. You should be fulfilled. And that's not the case. It's not fulfillment if there's other aspects, as she stated, her goals, her dreams, and so forth was left unfulfilled because she chose to raise her kids first and foremost, and therefore it didn't run concurrently with what she wants to do. Now, I think that her expressing herself was, so the first time when I heard the red table, I was like, oh, this is a bad look. But then for this one, as she continued to expand, I said, you know what? She's actually speaking for all the women who, and I'm saying all, because there's a lot of women who married young. I'm one of those. I married young, and I had my goals, dreams, and ambitions. And just like Nick stated here, there probably was some tone deafness on Steph Curry part because there may have been a reason why she felt like she couldn't have pursued her own dreams and goals at some point. And this may be the time where she is pursuing it because now she has the flexibility to do so. Now she has the willingness to do so. And so I think that ultimately we're told, and it's really funny, is that society has set it up. So it's like the marriage is the be all, end all, without recognizing that this person got married when she was 19. They've been together for a very long time, since she was a teen. And there's growth along the way. There's growth in the process. The person that she is at 19 definitely isn't the person she is at 40. And even as part of that process, the mere fact that she let go of some of her own dreams and goals could lead to resentment. And what she's doing is talking about the resentment that she may have had, or more importantly, the regret that she may have had. But that regret is coming from a place of honesty. And I don't think a lot of men are ready for that honest conversation because they, as Nick indicated, I was like, hey, TT, really don't have the emotional intelligence to do so. They're not ready to have that hard conversation that I sat here in the background. I played your secretary. I played your wife. I played the mother. I'm this, I'm that. But who am I as a person? Who am I as an individual? What do I have separately? Where's my agency? Where's my ownership? Because yes, it's great being your wife. Yes, it's great being a mother. But what do I have for myself? What is my identity? And that's what it sounds like she was searching for and looking for in this. And like I said, I married young myself. I've been fortunate that along the way, there hasn't been too many impediments, but it still was a growth process, right? I got with my husband when I was 19 also. We got married when I was 21. And it was a growth process along the way on his part and my part because we both were young. And that's one of the things that I think we should recognize, that she is still a whole separate individual with her own needs, wants, and desires. And I believe that we should give her grace for this. Now, as far as her speaking so much on this topic recently, it could just be the time that she's in. She now has the time to do so. I think she should edit some of it? Maybe. But maybe it's somebody out there who's just like her and don't feel validated. And now they have the validation that they need to say, oh, I'm not the only one. And that's where she lies. She's right there in that point where she can technically be an influencer for other women just like her.
Some of the conversations I've had, I've checked in with some of the brothers, and the confusion on some of the guys' points is this. You know, a lot of women say, "I want a guy. He's handsome, multimillionaire, love the Lord, no hoes. I can live the soft life. It's not Ayesha Curry is not scrubbing baseboards. She's probably got 2 or 3 maids. She's got a chef. So he is the quintessential unicorn mythical nigga that women say they want. So the brothers, what I'm hearing, they're saying, well, what else is there? What else could I do to help you be fulfilled, to move you forward, to make you whole? Because he's the mythical, godlike super nigga Jesus that women say they want. And that's still not enough. So that's what the point of confusion that I'm hearing from some men.
So basically, I don't think she's actually complaining about her situation. I think she's acknowledging the growth that she had experienced because at the time she said she wasn't ready. And I think it's okay to admit when you're not ready for something emotionally or physically or mentally. And that's what she was doing, was admitting that she wasn't emotionally. She was acknowledging her past and now speaking to her future. And so what you're saying is the end result versus
Right.
the time that happened. So you guys are saying, well, you have this now, but what about when they didn't have it? What about when he was up and coming? So I think that's the part that a lot of men are forgetting and missing. But most importantly, all she is doing is acknowledging where she was, where she's at. And maybe this is her diary of the mouth, as someone mentioned earlier. Perhaps this is a way of her getting her agency back because there's other things that she can use this to pivot towards and for if she's launching her own brand.
So let me help those brothers out, right? Because what I heard them brothers say seemed to come from an I-centered place. And my brothers, this ain't about you. And it's weird because I don't know if I should have to tell you that. There are things that your partner is going to go through that's not about you, right? So if everything that she's going through is about you, I can see why it would be hard for her to talk to you. And if it's in the prism of that, I gave you a house, or I gave you a life, I made a soft life. What the fuck does that have to do with how I feel about me and what I did for myself and what I wanted to be and who I wanted to be? So those brothers, when you talk about, what I hear is fear. What I hear is concern from those brothers, right? Like, oh my God, I'm gonna do all this stuff and it's still not gonna be enough for a woman. Nah, my brother, maybe you ain't found the right one. It's gonna be enough for the right one, right? Just like it's enough currently for Steph. Y'all using him to talk about your own insecurities about a mythical woman that, number one, you'll never find, and a position that you'll never find yourself in, right? What you're really just talking about is your own insecurities, and you're using this and you're using her. And we do it all the time. I even coined a phrase, right? Like, we use these people as avatars or whatever to talk about our concerns. We don't know these people for real, right? So she is still living the dream. What dream is she no longer living? Right? She's having a fucking conversation on a podcast, right? And so then we'll dissect it. We're not dissecting her for real, because we don't know her life. What we're doing is dissecting ourselves. That's why I started off the way that I did. We show our inability to think beyond our own childish and emotional needs. She's still sucking that nigga dick. She'll still show up as a wife. He's probably not missing out on anything, fellas. Hate to break it to you. You get what I'm saying? And when you're at that level of life, you have people talking about you. You shake it off, right? But some of y'all are just showing your insecurities. So it's okay. Once you admit that, then you can deal at the heart of it, because maybe you have some things that's not about her that you should deal with, right? And that's how you kind of help a relationship move along, because there's going to be ebbs and flows. And sometimes there's going to be things that bother you that doesn't have anything to do with your partner. And hopefully they give you the space and the grace to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that helps somebody. Anybody else want to fight back? Anything else I can help these niggas with? Okay? Because no. And I'm gonna say this last thing before we transition. You can't ask for a thing and not expect for there to be something that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shorty was young. She's rare. Most of y'all are not getting married in your 20s. But for some of y'all who are going to make that choice, and for some of y'all women out there, this is in front of you. You have to navigate dealing with, how do you feel about yourself and your identity? I think it's great that she actually did mention it. At least, hopefully, if she provided some productive ways for women to deal with it, because guess what? We want women with low body counts. We want women to get married early and shit, like, don't we? Isn't that what niggas say they want? And if you want
They
that,
say that.
So, yeah, bro, if you snatched her up early, she might have some little regrets. Like, as long as she'll go out there and get more dick.